What's going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. I hope everybody's doing well, and we have a bunch to go over in today's video and some massive news for the XRP ledger. So throwback to just last week, looking at RWA.xyz, we can see the RWA league table when you're not including stablecoins, and we can see the raw RWA value of a bunch of chains, and we had the XRP ledger get into the number 10 spot. So 175.9 million, let's call it 176 million. I posted this last week. Fast forward to today, and I'll even refresh this page, we can see that XRP jumped from the number 10 spot to number 3, and now we have over $1 billion in raw RWA value. And that's an absolutely huge jump, and keep in mind that everybody made fun of the XRP ledger initially when it was integrated into RWA.xyz. It had about $50 million in RWA value, people talking about other chains being further ahead, blah blah blah, even though the XRP ledger had tokenization already built into the protocol level since the beginning. So just keep in mind that we are very early days for RWAs, but also stablecoins. I know that the Genius Act was a big deal, basically a federal framework for the regulation of stablecoins. It's a lot of people's belief, including mine, that we are going to get federal frameworks, a variety of legislation for RWAs too. So looking at the XRP ledger, we have RWA value at over $1.1 billion. We have Hedera yet to be integrated, so I would love to see what type of value it has. Now when we go to the home page, we can see the total RWA value on chain over $26 billion, and the chain's down below. And I uploaded a YouTube video of a bunch of interviews by the Plume Network CEO. I highly recommend it. The video's not monetized, but I think there's not just good information, but need-to-know information about the RWA space. So be sure to go check that video out. I uploaded it 7 days ago. And just keep in mind that the XRP ledger, since its launch in 2012, already had featured built-in tokenization. And I know there are a lot of people that look at the 4-hour price chart and say, oh, well, prices are falling and RWA value is going up. There's no correlation of RWA value growing for the price of the actual token, but my bet is long-term there absolutely will be. You want to have as much value on-chain as possible. And we have to think about it. We got the Genius Act for stablecoins. That was really the first large federal framework for regulating stablecoins. We're going to get things like that for RWAs in the future, and that can open the floodgates. So we're going to look into this group, Vert Capital, with 5 different RWAs on the XRP ledger today, $941 million in RWA value. And I also wanted to remind everybody that we have iTrustCapital linked in the top of the YouTube video description. So here I have a screenshot of an XRP buy I did back in 2020. So this is back on December 28th when XRP was crashing and doing that huge flash wick all the way down to like 17 cents right there. That buy versus today, because I'm still holding, is up over 12x or up over 1100%, and this is just a huge emphasis on why you want to have a Roth IRA in the crypto space. You want that 100% tax-free growth. It doesn't make sense to have a traditional IRA. Unless you absolutely have to, but I would still look at other avenues like a backdoor Roth IRA, whether you have a traditional IRA or funds in the S&P 500 or already in crypto today. So be sure to go check out iTrustCapital linked right in the YouTube video description and ask them about a backdoor Roth IRA and different options. The crypto asset class has that asymmetric potential, and you want to make sure that that potential is 100% tax-free. And as everybody says, you don't have to bet the farm, you have to understand your time horizon and your risk tolerance, but I want to make sure that crypto is absolutely part of my retirement strategy long term. Alright, so let's dive into this group, Vert Capital, that just came from 0 to the number 1 spot, tokenizing almost $1 billion in value on the XRPL. This is all private credit. Now, I will say that I don't really care about private credit. I understand why it's tokenized very easily and initially compared to other things that I want to see tokenized, but the good thing is it bumped XRP right into the number 3 spot. So what does that do? High value captures attention, it shows legitimacy. But we're seeing a lot of other things, including US Treasury debt, we have stablecoins, and we have public equity. Now, when it comes to more bullish use cases, bullish assets and asset classes, we want to see tokenized. We could think about cross-border currency tokens like the euro, the yen. We could think commodities and energy, so gold, silver, oil tokenization. And even in the future, think about tokenized securities. Understand the global equities market is valued at over $100 trillion. So imagine seeing corporate bonds from big names like Apple and Microsoft, or even like S&P 500 trackers for blue chip equity ETFs. And there are many other things that institutions are looking at for ESG assets and real estate tokenization, but for private credit, it's not a huge deal. Same thing with small cap equities. Because typically private credit, it's highly illiquid, so it's not very liquid. There could be lockups, the overall pool of users and participants could be really small, so it doesn't generate a huge amount of transactional demand. But as this space gets regulated, we're going to see more tokenized commodities, tokenized energy, securities, and all that, which can offer a lot more demand. So all of this is important, all of this plays a role to lead to real federal frameworks. And I really can't emphasize enough how early we really are in the RWA and tokenization space if a huge chunk of this is private credit and there are so many other assets and asset classes yet to be tokenized, even including or considering other things and innovations with AI agents. And I hope everybody's aware of how much value is really out there and transacted, even in intangible markets like derivatives. And I mean when you consider bonds, equities, and real estate, saying hundreds of trillions of dollars is an understatement. So just know that today is a giant science experiment. The bulk of this is in fact private credit. We have some commodities, we have some stocks, but we have to consider real estate, we have to consider royalties and intellectual property, we have to consider new assets that are built from nothing. I know there are things that tokenize farms and agriculture and culture. You can tokenize absolutely anything, even sports betting. Alright, rant's over, let's check out Vert Capital so we can see what they have tokenized on the XRP ledger today. This is private credit and they are based in Brazil. Alright, so we have right here, Agribusiness Receivable Certificate, a CRA. So what is this in plain English? Basically we have a really big Brazilian lender called Banco ABC Brazil. And this big lender or bank loaned a bunch of money to all these farming businesses. So these are all big loans, and all of these loans basically get bundled together by a company called Vert Capital, and they put it into an investment product. So imagine an analogy where somebody grabbed a bunch of car loans or mortgages, and you bundle them all together so investors can buy a piece of them. So that's what these CRAs are for agribusiness or farming businesses. And they took this investment product and split it into 5 tranches or 5 slices. And out of these 5 slices, think about some that might be riskier and then some that are a lot safer. So some tranches have CDI linked and then other tranches have fixed rates. Obviously fixed rates, the interest rate stays the same the entire time, and then we have those CDI linked, basically interest rates move up and down with Brazil's main banking rate. And most importantly, we have all life cycle events are recorded on both the XRP ledger and the XRP EVM sidechain for real-time traceability. So the TLDR is these are a bunch of farm loans that are bundled into an investment product and then they are tracked on the XRPL. They're split into safer and even riskier slices, investors can get access, and they pay different types of interest. Next up, we are looking at XRPLgrants.org on the About page, and keep in mind they do have an accelerator, and they've put a lot of teams through and already paid out a lot of money, so we have over $15 million awarded and over 140 different teams. And you can visit the website xrplgrants.org/awardees, and you can see a bunch of different organizations and companies that got funding. And when I say a bunch, I mean a bunch. As you just scroll all the way down, I mean, it just goes on and on. So hopefully some of these are big successes. Alright, I think we're going to call it a day, and be sure to tune into the next video. I'm going to try to get that out today. So we're going to discuss OMFIF, the $43 trillion think tank. We know that Ripple the company is connected to the DMI Symposium. There was even a recent article last month with Marcus over at RippleX on their website. We'll also discuss this really important tweet made by David Schwartz discussing the XRP ledger. And I feel like diving into agentic AI, a lot of big AI agents and developments happening on Hedera and the XRPL. So we have this new platform, HOL or Whole Desktop. This is a cross-platform app for interacting with AI agents on Hedera. And I watched this group from the podcast posted by Generation Infinity, so we had Tate on Chain having a really cool conversation with people from Hedera, Constellation, and the XRPL. We also have this group, your personal AI assistant for the XRP ecosystem. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and I will catch you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash the like button and let me know your thoughts down below. You can find all links to my crypto resources, including tools for charting, trading bots, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts right in my link tree in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.